Hello friends. Today I'm in the mood to work on dollhouse miniatures. I've been doing dollhouse miniatures for many years, since I was a child, and I got out of it a couple of years ago to work on regular fine art, but I have been itching to start in on dollhouse miniatures again. So I figured instead of tackling a huge dollhouse or refurbishing one I already have, I decided to just go with a room box to get my feet wet and start developing my skills again. So the first thing I do when I start a miniature is I think about the design that I want to do. And what I want to do is a boho themed art studio. Someplace, I have a beautiful art studio now, but this would be my ideal art studio. And it would be like a she shed, but it will be small and it'll have an interior, and this area here would be a patio where I actually do the art. So if you stick with me, we'll have a lot of fun doing this. Just like with a house, I like to start doing a miniature project with the design phase. I like to know exactly what colors are going to go into my house or room box, and what style it's going to be, and what I need to do in order to achieve that. So this was my initial design sketch for a Bohemian artist studio, and that is what I'm doing this room box in. I have here a divan, or a natural wood base, which includes both the sofa and the side table. And this would be a tufted mattress with rolled bolsters. I want to have a brick wall, but instead of on the sides, it's going to be in the back. I want a gallery of photos and images that mean something to me personally, because this is going to be my dream art studio. I like mid-century modern, so this lamp on the side table is going to be a mid-century modern lamp that hopefully, if I learn how to wire correctly, it will light up. Over here, I'm going to have a natural fiber wall unit, rattan, and I'll show you what I'm going to use to achieve that. And this tufted ottoman is just another idea. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. If there's room, I will do that. And then over here, I have a rug. Now, the flap that comes down that opens and closes the box is going to be the patio. So that's going to be in either flagstones or brick. I'm not sure if I want to contrast it with the brick back wall and do something completely different, or match it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. So this was my initial sketch. And then here I refined it a little bit. And this was refining it so that I could decide how to do the lighting. This is that mid-century modern table lamp. I like that double shade look. I'll put a picture right now so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. And I'm going to build that hopefully to light up. This is a ceiling lamp that's going to go in the ceiling to light up. And it's just going to be like a Tiffany shade with fringe coming down. So it has a little bit of more of a bohemian look. The divan is going to be out of velvet, and the bolsters are going to have striped patterns with tassels. So that's a basic idea of what I want to do. And let me show you the fabrics that I've collected out of my stash that I want to use in the project. I picked out this fabric that I've used in my own home, and I love it. And as soon as I saw this rosette here, I knew that that was going to be my carpet. It's probably going to be an area rug instead of a full carpet, because it's a little bit too big. So this rosette, I think, would make a great carpet area rug. I love to reuse selvage. I keep the selvage on all of my fabrics because I use that as fringe. So what I'll do is I'll disconnect this, cut this out, and then run that fringe, that selvage, around to be the fringe of the rug. It's a handy tip. If you ever have fabric, keep the selvage. You never know when you need it. Okay. Now, let me keep this out so we can talk about color. The colors that I'm pulling from this are the rose, the burgundy, the teal, the gold, and there's a little bit of orange in there. So this is a piece of suede that I have, burgundy suede. It's actually real leather suede. And I'll probably use that for either book covers for that side, or cushions for the divan. This I had in my stash is faux suede. More, the nap of it is more in keeping with the miniatures, which is where I got it. I got it from a miniature dealer. I don't know who. If I can remember who it was, I will give you guys the name and include it in the description below. But at this point, I don't recall off the top of my head. But it's a beautiful neutral color. It goes well with the carpet. It's going to go well with the divan, so it might end up being cushions. Now for the divan, for this tufted piece, I found this in my stash. It's a velveteen, and I like the way it picks up this teal color right here. It's really pretty. And now with the velveteen, just like with velvet, depending on where the nap goes, it goes this way. And you know that because when you go like this, it's nice and soft and smooth. You go like this, it's rough. I think everybody's had some velvet clothing or velveteen and know what that means. So also the way you turn it makes a difference. So as I'm looking at it now, this is very dark. If I turn it around this way, it's very light from my point of view because the nap is going away. Whereas if I have it towards me, the nap is coming towards me, and it's much darker. So when you are creating anything with a velvet or a velveteen, always keep that in mind, that your nap has to all go in the same direction. Otherwise, you're going to have two different colors. Especially in miniature, it's very noticeable. Okay, and then this last fabric is a fabric that my husband and I had on our southwestern couch. We had a southwestern den about 30 years ago. And I found when I took this out that a lot of the colors matched. It has the burgundy, it has the blue, it has the teal, it has the gold. The only thing it doesn't have is the pink and the orange. But I felt like when I looked at this part, it looked like a rug going this way, like a long rug. So I might end up using that out in the art studio underneath the easel in the garden on the patio. And I think that would work out. So those are my colors. That's my color palette. Next, I'll show you the textures that I want to incorporate with the design. I know that Bohemian boho is very eclectic, but I like all different styles mixed in, modern, vintage, antique, all together, but I still like to have a cohesive color palette. That's how I have it in my own home. My house is very eclectic, but we keep to a certain color palette. Now let me show you all the textures that I'm going to use. Now, the textures are going to be natural textures. First, natural wood. I cut this part. This was a long plank that somebody had shaved off a branch. We do have a wood burning stove we use for heating in our house. So this somehow was in the pile when we got a wood delivery. So I grabbed that as soon as I saw it was nice and flat and just was a miniature stream. So I kept that and I've had it for years. So now I'm going to use this for the base of the sofa, which I already have cut out and assembled, and I'll show you that when I'm ready to make the cushion to go on top of it. Now to go with that, this is something else that I've had for many years. This is a placemat from, I would say, the 70s. And I've had this for years. And as you can see, I've used it before. When you get to the end, it starts to fray. And it's made of these tiny, tiny reeds. I don't know if that's bamboo. I have no idea what that reed is made from, but it's very fine. I've made Venetian blinds out of it in the past for a dollhouse, and it has a nice weave at the end. So I'm going to be using this to create the wall unit, which is right here. This part is going to be this material, this part. So I have that all worked out to be used for that. And what I have here, these scribbles on the sides of the wall unit, I found this at Dollar Tree. I was very happy to see it. It's like a really fine twine lace. It's very, they call it burlap trim, but it's more like a twine than a burlap, but it's very cool. And if I could use that to make the sides, that would be really cool and very bohemian and add a nice texture. Now, for twine, I have a whole roll of twine, and I may end up using that to wrap the poles of the wood. It depends on how I decide to build this, but this would be another thing that I would add. And there's a way to contain this fraying so that it doesn't look as frayed with glue. You just coat the line with glue, the fiber with glue, and press it down, and it's like using conditioner in your hair. You just control the nap, and it looks really good. This is always found in the jewelry section of the craft store, is real leather. I don't know how I'm going to incorporate it, but I thought it matched the vibe that I'm trying to achieve, the natural with the color. And it's so neutral that I could use it for almost anything. We'll see if I ever end up using it, but I have that on the side here. And then I have this. This was wire that I found in the florist. I've used it several times in doll making. I do make large size dolls occasionally, because I like to sculpt them. That's something I'll show to you in another video one day. But this is wrapped kind of like with the twine, but I think it's more of a paper or a fiber. I'm not sure what that is exactly, but it is very natural looking. So I'm going to try to use that, perhaps even for the poles, if it'll hold up and stay straight. And then maybe I'll put an arch using this to make an arch. We'll see. We'll see how it works out. That's a project that I'll do after I do the bed. So the first project I'll do, other than doing the surfaces of the room box, like the walls, the floor, and the garden patio, I will do the divan, and then I'll do the wall unit. So you'll see if I end up using this or something else. And the last thing I have is never throw out anything that looks like you could use it in miniatures. This is a strap from a favorite pair of sandals that I was very upset when the bottoms wore out and the rest of the shoe was still intact. So I cut off all the tabs off the shoe because they are woven leather. So in some way I could always use this for texture in something in the dollhouse, in the room box. I'm not sure what. Could be the base of a tray, could be a book cover. I don't know, although it's a little bit bumpy for a book cover, but somehow I will incorporate this in this room box. So that is what I have for the design. I also wanted to mention that some of the videos that I'm going to be doing is things to create the room, books and magazines, the artist supplies, the easel, the tabaret, which is the cabinet that's next to the easel so that you can keep all your art supplies on it. The lighting plan, I'm going to have to figure that out. It's been a long time since I've used lighting for a dollhouse or a room box, so I have to get used to that again, but we'll work it out. The sofa and side table, the wall unit bookshelf I just mentioned, some DIY plants, some wall art, We'll go through a whole bunch of images that I have and frame them. Walls and brick, so the brick walls and the flooring, the patio, anything that I'm going to make for the patio other than the easel and tabaret. I'm not sure what I'm going to add in there besides some plants or bushes, but you know, it might be some lawn furniture. I'm not sure yet. The exterior, the outside of the box needs to be finished, and I have to figure out how I'm going to do that. But it's got to match the mood of the room box itself. So that'll probably be one of the last things I do, because obviously we have to do all the lighting for the lights, and this will cover up whatever wiring I end up using. And then just art objects like vases and maybe some food, something to highlight the room and just dress it up. So just so you know, I'm going to start doing the flooring first for the room box, the inside of the room box, and I'm doing parquet floor, and that video will come next. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions or suggestions, I would love suggestions. Just leave comments below and let me know what you would do differently than me, or if you have any good ideas for me to do this, some like hints, tips, because even though I've been doing this a long time, there is so much to learn, and there's a lot of new stuff. I know the whole lighting thing is completely different than when I was doing it back in the day. So that's something I could always use help with, and your help would be invaluable. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.